Alright guys, welcome back to Everyday Off-Road. Got a new video for you today. We're going to be installing some PRP 4-point harnesses in the Jeep. Time to do just a little bit of safety in this thing. We've just been using the standard seat belts up until this point. And it's just a good upgrade, especially right before we head to Windrock and do a little bit more aggressive wheeling. So go ahead and get everything unboxed, kind of show you what we're working with, and hope y'all will follow along throughout the video to see how to install some 4-point harnesses in a TJ. First off, we've got our harness bar from Rock Hard. Like I said, this is from Rock Hard 4x4 online. It came bare metal. You guys have seen us paint plenty on the channel, so we just sprayed it in a satin black. Actually a semi-gloss on this, since it's going to be going inside, trying to match it the best we can to the Smitty-built cage we have. But 1 coat of primer, 2 coats of black, and then a final coat of clear coat, and it came out pretty good. Gonna go ahead and get this in the Jeep, and we'll start by showing you where it has to go and what we've got to do before getting this bar installed. So we're at the Jeep now. That bar is actually going to go from somewhere right in here on either side of the factory roll bar, come up, go behind the seats, and then come back down. So it just goes right behind our seats here. We've obviously got our seats folded up. Get a little question all the time about what this bar is. This is not a harness bar. This is the bar from the Smitty-built cage that I have. Since we have the best top Trek top, which is the slanted back, fastback looking soft top, this bar would not work where it's supposed to go, which originally is up here to tie these 2 pieces together. So we just slid it down about halfway down the factory roll bar, and looks pretty good there. Get a lot of questions on that, so that's what that is. It's just the piece from the Smitty-built cage. Anyway, back to this. We've got to get the padding stripped off here on the bottom. This thing's going to mount kind of low, probably somewhere in here, and then it flares up and runs behind these seats at about shoulder height. So let's go ahead and get this bar over here and see where we're going to have to cut this. I like having the factory padding on here, so we're probably going to have to cut a little slit in this, kind of like we did up there to make the Smitty-built work. So let's get it over here, see where it needs to go before we cut this. All right, guys, I've stripped back the factory roll bar padding on the passenger side here. That's what we're looking at. There's a zipper up here at the top. You got to kind of search for it, but it unzips all this, and then this pops out, which is just the piece of padding that goes along the factory roll bar. So once you remove that, there's actually the passenger side there. We were able to fit the bar into place, start with one end up here, and then pull the other end from the bottom. Kind of got to angle it in here. You may have to take the bolt on the factory roll bar loose at the bottom if yours won't fit. This one looks like it's going to fit pretty good. Right now I'm just working on getting this clamshell half connected so it doesn't keep sliding down on me. Once we get both of those on, as you see, this one's not done yet, we will mess with the height of this bar. Looks like it's still got to come up some, get it to where we want it, and then we will torque these down. These are just Allen head bolts. These are just Allen head bolts here, 3 on either side of these half clamshells. Clamp it onto the factory roll bar. That's what we're working on. Once we get this side on, we will catch back up with y'all and get the final height adjusted, and that should be about it for the bar. Pretty simple stuff. So after a little trial and error, we have the bar positioned about where we want it. The later style TJ seats are a little bit thicker, a little bit just bulkier of a seat, plus we've got these seat covers on them. So I really wanted this handle to be easily accessible, and there's the kind of, just with the curvature of the seat, it kind of bows out right here. So this little notch right here below the lever, adjustment lever for the seat, and this bulge kind of made the perfect spot for the harness bar. And as far as height, I think that's going to work as well. PRPs are obviously going to wrap around here, come up, and they'll come over the shoulder of the seats. And then we come over to the left side. We've got 4 in over here as well, kind of working on getting this side all wrapped up. Like I said, these are just like the Smeadybilt cage. It's just a half clamshell that kind of clamps together. This obviously is the side it screws into, and then these little pieces, you bolt in your Allen key bolts. There's 6 per clamshell. Driver's side, make sure you're careful, because if you still have your factory sound bar, the wiring for it runs up the left tube over here of the factory roll bar, so you don't want to pinch that in the clamshell. So make sure that's out of the way. We pulled ours out. So we're going to get this tidied up, get these tightened, then we will have the rock hard bar in place. Then we're going to work on actually cutting those and getting this back to factory look. This whole thing hopefully is going to be hidden, this whole bracket right here, and it'll look like factory coming through here. So that's the goal. Get this finished up and we'll catch you back up. Alright, the rock hard 4x4 harness bar is in. Got our factory roll bar padding back just how we like it. What we do is actually strip the fabric piece off here, pull it up as you saw in the previous part of the video. Underneath that is the actual foam padding itself. It's kind of a nasty yellow color. We take that, cut about this much out of it just to get the C-clamp in here for the new bar, and then mount the lower and upper pieces back, and then put the actual covering back on it so it looks factory. So we did that on both sides. It's kind of the same thing that we did for the cage, but it's in, looks pretty good. Just ready for some harnesses now. Alright, so it's been a couple days since we got the rock hard harness bar in. That's good to go. Next step is going to be configuring how we want to run our lap belts on the 4-point harness. Obviously, you're going to have the 2 shoulder straps coming up and around the top of the seat. They come down here, connect. Then you've got a lap bar that's going to need to connect on either side of both seats. So you've got these 2 bolts down here in the very back of the seat that, let me fold the seat up. This one here and that one there. Those hold the seat in place, and it's going to be pretty simple the way we're going to do this. I actually ordered a couple of more things from Rock Hard in order to make this easy. We've got one of them in right here, but let's go look at them on the bench and kind of explain what we've got. So we've got 3 of these. The other one is in the Jeep already. I was kind of test fitting it as we talked about a minute ago. This is just a simple bracket. It's not quite 90 degrees. It's actually a little bit over 90 degrees. But this mounts under the seat. The one seat bolt that I showed you a second ago that comes through one of these holes. And then this 90s up and allows you to attach the harness to one of these top bolts depending on where you need it. So these are just going to slip under the seat, and then we'll get the seat back down secured, and it'll be onto the actual harness itself. So like I mentioned, this is the one we've already got in. I pulled this bolt out, which is a 1/2 inch, and it allowed me to lift up on the back of the seat, slide this 90-degree piece of angle in here, and then I've got a grade 8 bolt and nut right here to attach the harness. So that one's good. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this way, but this one's on mine is actually a different size. This is a 5/8. I've got it backed off and loose, so we're about to pull it up, slide the other bracket for this seat down, and then we'll be able to install our harness lap bar using the 90-degree angle pieces. So here we are. This side is in. This side is in. I know it's dark in here, I apologize. We've got a bolt run through the back setting. There's another setting up there. Just from the look of it, when you fold the seat back, we're going to want to use it in this setting, but if you don't, it's not a big deal. You can just swap the bolt up here. So you got these in. That should provide a great spot for the harness to dock down here for the lap portion. Allows it to be at a good angle, not be bent over. You could probably make something similar to this instead of buying it online. That's what we're doing for the floor. So I'm going to do the driver's side next, and then we'll be on to harnesses. So harness wise, this is what we're going with. The PRP 4.3, just standard harness in black. Can't beat the classics. Got one out of the box here, and that one still needs to be unwrapped and kind of figured out. These things obviously only go on one way, so I think we'll start with the passenger side and try to get this one in. The PRP came with some instructions. Basically, this is the shoulder belt. It goes back around the bar that we put in from rock hard and secures that way. And then down here is the lap belt piece that will go down and anchor beneath the seats. So that's what we're working with. Go ahead and get this one in, see how it looks. Got the passenger side harness in. Wasn't bad at all. These are the brackets we got from rock hard. All we did is attach the lap bar portion to those, snug this up. I used a 15 mil. Obviously you may have something different. And then it's pretty self-explanatory as far as the adjustments and everything. Here is where we attach the back straps. Still have to kind of secure some of the slack, but the rock hard bar has this nice feature where these won't slide around. It keeps it trapped right here. So the back, I guess shoulder straps, technically what they are, come up through the bottom and come back through that bracket on either side, come over the back of the seat. In the perfect world, you'd have some PRP or some sort of Corbeau race style seats with the slots in it for the shoulder straps, but we like our stock seats, especially with the bar tack, so these work just fine. Yeah, that's about all there is to it. Hardest part's getting all the hardware in. Really getting the harness itself attached is no big deal. So got to go over to the driver's side. One thing I did want to mention, we did pull our stock seat belts out. We may end up putting them back in. It's just very crowded and busy with both the harness and the seat belt in. So getting the seat belt out is pretty simple. Just got a T50 Torx up here and another one down here actually holding the mechanism in. So 2 bolts gets the seat belt out. These are definitely a more secure manner of holding you in here, having the 4 points of attachment. So huge upgrade. But I just wanted to mention we did pull our stock seat belts out, so we will have a constant seat belt light on. But like I said, I don't think these will ever get used. We just kind of cruise around simple trails. We don't even usually have a seat belt on, just for main road type stuff once we get to the parks. But once we get on some obstacles, we usually put our seat belt on, and so these will work perfect. So just wanted to throw that in there. Alright guys, PRPs are in. Let me know what you think. Really look good in here. Should hold us pretty stable. We're always trying to lean out and film and watch where we're going at the same time, so these should keep us retained in the seat pretty well. Nice and comfy. The shoulder straps pretty dang thick. I'm pretty happy with them. Got them adjusted pretty good. I'm no model by any means, but they actually feel pretty good on the shoulders. I think all day wheeling with these on may start to aggravate your collarbone area a little bit, but there's no way to know until we get out there and do it. Like I said, when we're just kind of chilling, cruising the main road, going real slow and stuff, not on any obstacles, I probably just won't wear them. However, when we get going up fast, when we get on the road, or when we are on a major obstacle, these will be super nice to have on. Feel really sturdy in here. I can still reach the steering wheel. So here's your adjustment points. This obviously holds the shoulder harnesses kind of together. You can adjust this, and down here is your lap bar. It's got adjustment, so plenty of adjustment in these. This side is for the wife. Obviously I've got to get her down here and let her sit in here, get them adjusted where they fit well. Overall, pretty happy with them. Good stuff. All right guys, that does it for this one. Got the harnesses in, ready to go. We're leaving for Windrock in less than 2 weeks. Those will be nice to have. Doing some final little tinkering with the Jeep. This is going to be our biggest trip of the year. We'll be wheeling for 2 full days, so be looking forward to some content from that. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Everyday Off-Road. We'll see you in the next video.